There's several stories we're following. We'll start in Minnesota. Because 1 week after an ICE officer shot and killed Renee Good, clashes between residents and federal agents are intensifying across the state. State Representative Michael Howard told the New York Times, quote, "It feels like our community is under siege by our own federal government." President of the Minneapolis City Council, Elliot Payne, says, quote, "This is a military occupation and it feels like a military occupation." Videos like this one from a gas station in St. Paul show really chaotic scenes of agents using aggressive tactics to make arrests, smashing car windows, forcefully pulling people from their cars, pinning them down, dragging them across the ground. I want to show you an arrest from that same stop where one man pleads with officers, telling them he's actually not resisting them.
I'm not resisting. Hey, I'm not resisting. I'm not resisting. I'm not resisting.
This is how you spend your life?
Hey, can somebody grab my phone?
Being cheap, JV,
hey, give it to my girlfriend.
I got your phone. That's what you want?
I got you.
Who do you need us to contact?
Hey, my girlfriend's right behind you.
Give us a phone number.
My girlfriend's right behind me.
Once you guys get him in, let's get him into Victor 3, okay?
I'm going to Victor 3. That's what they said. Victor 3. You know. Give him a good pat down. Once you get him up, give him a good pat down. Get up. In the vehicle. You know what? All right, we're done. Pick up his leg. Pick up his leg.
Back up, you guys.
Stay back. Stay back.
It's hard to watch another human being being dragged that way. A similar scene unfolded late last week at a Target in Richfield, Minnesota, where employees watched as their two co-workers, both U.S. citizens, according to local officials, were seized by federal agents. Watch.
I don't know. I can't see. I can't see.
I think it's Johnny.
Hang on.
Step back.
Hang on.
Do they have
Is that Chris too?
You guys have everything you need? Do you have the warrant? Do you have everything to be taking him right now? Both of them. Where is the paperwork? Where is the paperwork?
Maddie, what are we doing? Maddie.
This isn't it. This isn't it right now. Not Minneapolis. Where is the paperwork? Where is the warrant? Where are their warrants? Is anybody else going to ask for the
Get on the phone. Hey, no.
have the right to know
Get on the phone.
Stay back.
Go on the phone.
and clear
Make a phone call. Go make a phone call right now.
At a Target, people who, again, local officials were saying are U.S. citizens. Let's take a moment. That's really hard to watch. It comes as social media videos continue to catch arrests, not only in public places like those, but also on quiet residential streets. President Trump posted on Truth Social yesterday that the, quote, day of reckoning and retribution is coming for Minnesota. Let's stay in that state, though, because there's been a wave of resignations from top prosecutors following that fatal shooting in Minneapolis. According to the New York Times, at least 6 federal prosecutors in Minnesota resigned yesterday amid the Justice Department's push to investigate the victim's widow and the DOJ's refusal to investigate the ICE agent involved in that shooting. As we noted yesterday, 6 other top DOJ officials in the Civil Rights Division have resigned over the administration's handling of this shooting. Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche wrote in a statement yesterday, quote, "There's currently no basis for a criminal civil rights investigation." And again, one of the top prosecutors in Minnesota who resigned was also leading the charge on investigating all of the fraud probes that the Trump administration is so keenly interested in. So by not acting in the correct way, just doing basic investigations in Minnesota on the ICE front, they're also losing ground on an issue of fraud that everyone should care deeply about. And then, of course, there's the international stage, because today the foreign ministers of Greenland and Denmark are set to meet with Vice President Vance and Secretary of State Rubio at the White House. That meeting comes amid a spike in tensions resulting from comments made in recent weeks suggesting the U.S. could use military force to take the territory. Speaking yesterday in Copenhagen, the Prime Minister of Greenland said that if pressed to choose between Denmark and the U.S., Greenland would choose Denmark. And President Trump was then asked about those comments yesterday.
On Greenland, sir, the premier of Greenland said today, we prefer to stay with Denmark. Do you see that as the final
said
word?
that?
The premier of Greenland.
Well, that's their problem. That's their problem. I disagree with him. I don't know who he is, don't know anything about him, but that's going to be a big problem for him.
Want to go live to the ground in Greenland. MS Now international reporter Inez de la Cuetara is there for us. Inez, what do you expect to see during that meeting later today at the White House? And of course, at the center of this are folks living in Greenland. What are they telling you?
Yeah, Ali, I mean, all eyes on that key meeting happening today in D.C. Secretary of State Marco Rubio meeting with Greenlandic and Danish officials. We know that Vice President J.D. Vance will also be participating in those talks. We understand that meeting came at the urgent request of Danish officials who really wanted to discuss Greenland in person because they're growing increasingly concerned about the president's rhetoric when it comes to Greenland. Now, this comes as we expect Greenlandic and Danish officials to push back on the president's rhetoric, to say that Greenland is not for sale, that it cannot be bought, and that it does not want to be a part of the U.S. We know Greenlanders are growing increasingly worried. The U.S. and the EU and NATO as well. They both are kind of trying to figure out how to respond to the president's comments. So NATO, we know, is discussing next steps to boost security in the Arctic. When it comes to the EU, a European diplomat telling me the conversations being had within kind of European capitals right now is about possibly invoking a mutual defense clause that is laid out in the European Union Treaty. This is Article 42.7. So Denmark would have to ask for it. It would likely be framed around the possibility of threats from Russia and China in the Arctic. And then European Union countries would decide whether to send in additional troops. I'm told it's a measure that is kind of more appealing because the European countries would decide whether to send troops on a voluntary basis. So there would be no budgetary concerns there. And when it comes to, everyday kind of people in Greenland that we've been talking to, they are growing increasingly frustrated. I think they just want to be left alone by President Trump. They tell us they don't want to be Americans. They don't want to be Danes. They want to be Greenlanders. We spoke to a Greenlandic member of parliament who is worried that the people of Greenland are not at the table here, that this is really a conversation that's being had between two colonial powers, so the U.S. and Denmark, about Greenland without Greenland. I'll let you listen to what she had to say.
We're like such a peaceful country, and our culture is also very peaceful culture. We're not used to these powerful countries talking about our sovereignty like that. So it's very unusual times for us to feel unsafe in such a peaceful environment. And usually people don't know where Greenland is. Now the whole world, I feel like, know what's happening.
And she is now in Copenhagen for another meeting that's going to be happening later in the week. A group of U.S. senators, a bipartisan delegation of U.S. senators, heading to Copenhagen to meet with Greenlandic and Danish officials to hopefully find a diplomatic way out of this, Allie.
Yeah, bipartisan delegation, too. Senator Chris Coons leading that, Senator Jeanne Shaheen, the top Democrat on the Foreign Relations Committee, and then Tom Tillis and Lisa Murkowski among that group. MS Now international reporter Inez de la Cuetara, live from Greenland. Thank you, my friend. It was good to see you.